very good afternoon to you. Welcome to the second hour of our show. We start here. Umkhonto Sizwe party says is replacing 18 of its members of the National Assembly. The bulk of them were sworn in less than 2 months ago on the 25th of June. For more on this, we're joined by the party's spokesperson, Nhlamulo Ndhlela. A very good afternoon to you, sir. Thanks very much for your time. This is unheard of.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to your viewers. Why would you say it's unheard of? No, it is. It's possible, it's allowed per the parliamentary rules that you can replace members sworn in or not on the National Assembly. And this is what we're doing. I think maybe let's put context to this.
What happened?
Our candidate lists that were submitted to the IEC, in effect, was sabotaged. We even opened a case to that extent at the Sandton police station, where we cited certain irregularities of names that were input there that were not supposed to be there. One of those being the prominent President Zuma. I mean, our strategy was never to have him on the list in the first place, and only to then bring him on later stage, as we did with Judge Hlophe. Now, what has happened is we then communicated at the point of swearing in with the 12 members. Now, when I say 12, there's 6 names that were there that we never got sworn in, and then there were the 12 that were sworn in. And we had to communicate with them. And we engaged with them in a civil manner to inform them that this is the situation and that they have to be replaced. And when I talk about sabotage, I'm talking about people who are putting in friends, community members, and family members onto our list. And so we communicated with them that they have to be replaced at some point. So they're given 2 options as allowed by Parliament. We consulted the Parliament. And they decided to still go ahead and be sworn in, of which still is allowed by Parliament. Now that they're being replaced, there's nothing untoward. This is something they knew was going to happen, because the names that are now replacing them are the same names that were ought to be on our list in the first place.
Whose responsibility was it to compile the list?
Well, we had entrusted certain members of the party, comrades, who have now been expelled. And part of the reasons why they were expelled was for exactly that. And remember, we've always been highlighting the issue of being infiltrated and all sorts of rogue elements. And we've been having to deal with that. We've been having to clean up. We're a young organization. We are forming structures. And naturally, you'll come across certain teething situations such as this. But it's about us doing something about that. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're fixing this organization, and we're ensuring that we're duly represented in Parliament. Here's another example. At one point, and I'm sure with some of the interviews you may have heard, Judge Hlophe stating that there were some members that never showed up one morning, in Parliament. And that was at a critical time when we were requested and we needed to vote. Some members didn't show up, and let me tell you, the bulk of the members that were actually not there are the same that are being replaced. So we say we need to represent our party well. We need to have competent people. And this is what we're doing.
Whether it's how you compile the list, whether it's people not showing up, it does suggest disorganization on the part of your party, doesn't it?
No, I wouldn't say it's a disorganization. I think it's an organization.
Competence, perhaps?
No, we're highly competent. I don't think we're able to get to the point that we're at without being competent. I'm sure you've heard some of our submissions in Parliament. Wouldn't you say that those are competent people? Of course we're competent. You look at our manifesto, that tells you our competence. We're bringing in people that ought to be representing us and that have got the content and the competence also further adding to the team. Because, we are the opposition party and our posture has to be exactly that. So, this is no issue of us targeting individuals or anything like that. This organization is a strong organization, and we'll demonstrate that. We're only 8 months old.
But it is baffling that it would be so easy for someone or some people to sit in a room or some corner, compile a list, and that list goes through without anyone detecting timeously, that something like that had happened.
But that's what happens when you have rogue elements and individuals who go and do their own thing. People were given clear instructions that this is what you have to do. When you've submitted this is what you do. You bring it for approval. The wrong lists were brought for approval, were misled. And the next thing, when we check what's on the IEC system, it's something else. And we had to deal with that immediately. But at that point in time, we had to focus on elections and reorganizing ourselves in light of what transpired. And it brought about an unnecessary situation where President Zuma should be in the National Assembly right now. The strategy was never to have him on the list in the first place. It was to say President Zuma will service at a later stage.
Does it not make more urgent, the task of, setting up proper structures with a proper constitution and everything that flows from that?
Oh, absolutely. We have a, let's say, near-done constitution. We have deliberated on it. It's a very solid constitution, there's no doubt about that. It's a matter of adopting it accordingly at conference, or whichever structures we decide to adopt it. But I think what I must communicate is the following. We have a team that's worked on an organizational structure. We're professionalizing this organization. We are going to have branches set up. We're going to have proper head office set up, provincial structures set up. It's all there, it's in the plan. But naturally with us, this is an unconventional situation, so we need to ensure that we bring unconventional measures to ensure that we fast-track the professionalization of this organization, which hasn't been easy. But we are certainly quite at an advanced stage of ensuring that that happens.
Will all of that not come too late for whoever may still believe in the project, given some of these, what has happened now? It's unheard of that. 18 people are asked to leave the party at one go. Won't these affect, any future possibilities of growing and having people, take you very seriously?
No, we're taken very seriously. It's not an issue of people being removed as members of the party. And I think maybe if you read that letter from the Speaker, it refers to membership in Parliament. So these are not people that are being expelled or being removed from the party at all. No, they're still members of the party. And these are members of the party whom we engaged as comrades to say this is the situation that they themselves know how they found themselves in. So we, and our posture is that of a professional organization. And that's what we want to achieve. We are a professional organization. We've had teething issues. The issues that we're dealing with right now, remember, are circumstantial of the back of what happened before elections. This issue of the list is the same. So part of professionalizing the organization and getting ourselves to a posture that demonstrates that we are an organization that can represent our people accordingly, whether it be inside of Parliament or outside of Parliament, starts with dealing with such issues.
And you're not worried that instances like these may sow seeds of dissent, and trouble, factionalism even, within this new party?
In any party, there's always going to be disagreement and different views. Naturally so. You're dealing with human beings. You're dealing with human beings in a party that is highly recognized, the incoming government, the opposition party. People are going to be interested to find themselves in positions, but we're not going to adapt the same kind of culture that you find in some of these other parties. We are going to follow our process. We know what we're doing, and we're going to identify the right people who are going to be vetted on top of that. What we have, we're not necessarily saying that we don't have the right people. We're saying the timing right now is that the people that were brought in were not the right people to represent us at this stage and to ensure that we're a posture of an incoming government and the official opposition. So that's why you'll see some of the names that are there are the names that were supposed to be there in the first place, and that will demonstrate that in Parliament.
This is not an isolated incident. Not too long ago, you fired the party Secretary General for the second time. That then suggests what you don't seem prepared to admit, that there is something wrong, very wrong going on. I think it may affect the stability of this new party.
No, it's not affecting the stability of this new party. I think one thing that you need to understand is that we still have an interim structure. And remember, as I said, we're at an advanced stage of forming should I say, a formal, finalized structure. So we're all volunteers. I'm still a volunteer. Everyone is a volunteer within MK Party. Moving you to a different role There's nothing wrong with that. We've got capable people that we can move into different positions. But what does that mean? Does that mean that we're not a stable party? No. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're not a stable party. When there's elements that need to, certain decisions for us to take, we'll take those decisions, whether it be positive or negative, based on how people perceive it. But there are certain decisions we need to take. Here's the thing. We wouldn't have made it this far if we're disorganized and we don't know what we're doing. Do you think we would have garnered the kind of support that we've garnered, even though it was off the back of a rigged election? No. So we know what we're doing. People just need to trust us because we know what we're doing, and there's no ways that this organization is just going to go up into thin air, as some are wishing. It's not going to happen.
When are your Tom Moyanes and Lucky Montanas going to be sworn in?
Well, Tom Moyane is not going to be sworn in. He's decided he's not going to participate any further for his own reasons. The Lucky Montanas and all the other names that have been bandied about will be communicated as to when they'll be sworn in by Parliament. That's a parliamentary process, so the Secretary of Parliament will inform us accordingly.
May I ask why Tom Moyane changed his mind?
Well, Tom Moyane is an adult who can respond as to why he changed his mind himself.
He would have given you the reasons, wouldn't he?
No, I'm not at liberty to share that. It's Tom Moyane's reasons, and he should then share them with you. All you have to do is ask.
Nhlamulo Ndhlela, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
Well appreciated.